This video, I'm going to cover how to apply an overwrap. This particular overwrap is going to be, I'm going to use a Udrippin Freaky Tack. Udrippin also has the Pro Tour overgrips and other overgrips as well. But I'm going to focus on the Freaky Tack since this is my personal paddle and that's what I want to use. Right now I have a Hesicor small grip applied, so it's a little bit thinner. We'll go ahead and open up our resealable package. Put that aside. First thing we want to do is take off the top tape. We're going to save this because we're going to use it in the end. And then we're going to start to unravel the overgrip itself. You'll notice that one end of the overgrip is square, the other end of the overgrip is angled. We're going to work with the angled end to start with. One side of the overgrip has a non-tacky side, shall we say, and obviously one side is freaky tacky. And we're going to take off at least almost all of the cover. That's because I'm going to have it on the floor here. I don't want to get it all dirty. Now I'm going to start. I am right-handed, so I'm going to start this direction, and I'm going to start with the flat edge on the bottom. I'm going to overlap it just a little bit off of a corner, and I start to rotate the paddle. I normally do this in my lap, so this ought to be fun. I'm going to rotate it so that, escaped, let's try that again. Wrap it around and overlap it a little bit on one rotation so that it actually covers the starting point. Then I am going to begin to angle my wrapping. Now you want to have some tension. That's going to cause it to, especially with a Hesicor grip, it's going to cause it to get into the little nooks and crannies. The more you overlap, the thicker your grip's going to be. So I got a thin Hesicor, so I want to not overlap as much because I want to be able to keep my grip relatively thin. And I just continue to rotate with some tension on the overwrap itself. If you get to the part of the plastic you haven't removed, that's a good point to start removing some additional plastic. If you need to, you can back up and rewrap. If you don't like your wrapping job, it's not a big deal because the part that's touching the handle has no grip to it or no tack to it. So you simply unwrap it and rewrap it. It looks like I finally got into the plastic, so I'm going to take some more off. When I get to the top, I like to wrap up to the very top of the angled part of the paddle. Some people will go up higher. I'll go one wrap around just to be sure I have what I want. And then remove the rest of that cover. Now, some people will simply cut square at this point. If you don't have a pair of scissors handy, you can just tear it and then fold it. But I prefer to go ahead and cut back a little bit. Now, at this point, you could apply the top tape, but what I like to do is I have a small piece of white tape. Since I have a white grip, if I had a black grip I was applying, I'd use black or an appropriate accent color to neon green or whatnot, and I'll simply apply that to the very, very top. Give that a little bit of attention. This is not a required step by any means. It's just something I like to do to make sure my top of my grip is sealed. And then I will apply in this case, the dripping top. Take this little piece off. No, we'll leave that on for a second. Take that off. And of course, it's important that you get your label on either facing you because you're the one looking at it, or facing your opponent if you want to make them intimidated. Now, it's usually long enough that you can wrap more than once. So I like to start down a little bit because I'm going to wrap it past one time around. And I'll angle that up a little bit so that it's fully visible on top. I'm going to, instead of removing that little piece, I'm just going to cut. And now that's some pretty freaky tack. Even though I have my freaky tack label, I'm going to go ahead and apply my band. Bands are nice because they help protect the top of your paddle. See if I can do this in a way that doesn't seem odd. There we go. Now let's move it up. Covering up all that wonderful tape job I did. Rotate my bands a little bit. And there we have it. A completed, overwrapped, freaking freaky tack U dripping over grip.